iRock Radio, the world headquarters of rock. It's Mike Karolyi backstage at Rockin' Derby in upstate New York with my friend Brent from Shinedown.
What's happening, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Crisscrossing the world, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. We're excited to be at this this shindig that's going down, this inaugural derby that's happening. It's pretty out of control.
You know, when you were starting out, you probably thought one day, I'd love to play Scotticoke, New York. And here you are.
I'm stoked to be here, man. Totally.
It's really cool, man. We've been here all weekend seeing some really good bands. And I was just out watching Seven Dust. And I'm standing in the middle of that crowd, and it's like the energy is awesome. And the adrenaline that goes through me as a fan is amazing. What's it like for you when you're on that stage and you're looking out over tens of thousands of people reacting to your music?
We're just really, really blessed to be able to continue to still do it and to have a career. And, I mean, a lot of that has to do with the audience. I've said this before. You've heard me say it. But it's very, very true. We only have one boss. It just happens to be everybody in the audience. It was funny. There were some people backstage a minute ago. I was walking by, and they were jamming Vanessa Williams, you know, because we're the last band of the 3 days. And they were jamming Just When You Thought a Chance Had Passed. They go and save the best for last. I thought that was hysterical.
That's good.
And, you know, but, yeah, you know, something like this, you know, anytime that you come into something that's it's the first time that they've done it and you see this many people show up, because sometimes festivals and what have you throughout the United States, it can be tough, but you got to start somewhere. And I'm just glad to see more events like this starting to happen. And I wouldn't necessarily say they're starting to pop up, but, you know, parts of, you know, in the rock community, I've seen a lot of reports just in media where other artists are like talking about how, you know, the best rock and roll was in the 90s and, you know, rock is dead. And I mean, they're kind of selling themselves out, you know, and selling themselves short. I don't think that rock and roll music is gone or dead at all. I mean, there's thousands of people here. We just spent 3.5 weeks doing the festival circuit in the United States. I mean, we've played for thousands of people on this circuit. The most people that I've seen in just the month of May since we've been a band touring festivals this year alone, there had to have been a record that was broken in attendance with these festivals.
I've said it all along. Same thing. Rock is not dead. You look at tens of thousands of people at Rock on the Range alone. And here, tens of thousands of people. It's impressive. Plus, I would imagine it's a chance to get caught up with bands that you're not currently on tour with, but you got Seven Dust is here and Ghost is here and all these random bands, and you get to get caught up with them on a tour that's not your own. Is that kind of like a friendship, like a, I don't know, a brotherhood of traveling around and you meet in one place?
Absolutely, because it's like summer camp. It really is. Like all the bands that are out here, for the most part, we all know each other, and some of us have even been on like lengthy tours together, and some of the artists we've never toured with before. My guys, Barry and Eric, they are just enthralled with Ghost. But it's cool, man, because we've done a bunch of shows with them on this circuit through May, and like just today, they were able to go over there and meet some of the guys, because they do keep their camp a little bit away from everybody, but we actually found out that they were actually fans of ours too, so that was pretty cool. But just being able to watch bands like that, and you know, you were just talking about Seven Dust. I mean, I think every single band that's here today and that has been on this circuit, I mean, all these bands have learned something from Seven Dust on every single level. And I mean, ultimately, it's good because it's healthy competition. It's nothing like being, you know, no one's cocky, but it's definitely a confidence level that's there.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, in these type of environments, in this type of environment, you want to be able to bring your A game. All these bands want to get up there and like throw down, man. That's what we're here to do.
Well, we've got you coming in with the Carnival of Madness tour with Hailstorm and Blackstone Cherry and Whiskey Myers. It's Saturday, August 13th at Mohegan Sun Arena.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
We were told that we were responsible for bringing Hailstorm back to Connecticut.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you are.
So I will totally take that, straight up. Shinedown brought Hailstorm back to Connecticut. You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you. Because, man, they come out with the album, and they've done a ton of touring, and they haven't played there yet. So this is the first time. So
no, we're excited.
It's good.
It was cool, man, because we did the inaugural Carnival of Madness in the UK with Blackstone Cherry and Hailstorm, and we had our friends Highly Suspect on there, so it was all Indigo Entertainment bands. It was all Bill McGathy managed. But this, you know, came about by doing Carnival this year, you know, in the United States. When we were all over there together, we hadn't toured together in a long time, like Blackstone and Shinedown and Hailstorm. So we all just kind of were like, let's just do it in the U.S. And everybody agreed to it. We wanted to bring something a bit more eclectic out as an opener, and that's where the Whiskey Myers comes in. And I think it's going to be something that I can guarantee you, just visually and sonically and everything that is Carnival of Madness, every year that we're on it as a headliner, we always step it up from the previous. So I can guarantee you that it will be brought 100%.
Last two questions. Beyond Carnival of Madness, you announced you're going out with Five Finger Death Punch.
Yep.
Who thought of it? I think that's an amazing pairing. Two massive bands going out doing a tour together. It's spectacular. So how did that come about?
Honestly, we had been in talks with each other for about almost a year with the idea of doing it in the fall of 2016. I think mutually, both of the camps and management had been talking about it. Also, we have 6 a.m. on that tour, which is a huge deal. Bruce Dickerson's son has a band called As Lions. They're actually going to be opening that show.
That's cool.
And here's the thing about Five Finger Death Punch. I got to give them a lot of credit, and I'm not just saying this. Sometimes you will go out on co-headlining tours, and the ego can get it can get a little tough between the two bands, and it's not that there's any kind of it goes back to that competition and that confidence level. But it's always good to go on tour with a band when you're doing a co-headline tour where both bands are like, there is no ego. It's like we know what, seriously, it's like we know what we're doing and they know what they're doing. And like Five Finger, they're such pros, and we really wanted to work with them. This has been something that's been in the works for a while. We've always wanted to work together. And I love the fact that what the audience is going to get is two completely different shows between us and Five Finger Death Punch. It's the dynamic of rock and roll meets heavy metal. And it's a really, really well done, thought out tour. We did 3 shows earlier this year that were put on sale 4 months ago in 3 different markets, and we did that kind of as a test to see how, the audience, whether or not this, if it would sell. And it sold very, very well.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
We've only released 12 dates, but there's about 28 shows in 28 markets that we won't be releasing until August. Right. So everybody's been asking, like, are there more dates? And like, there's actually a boatload more. It's just we haven't been able to release them yet.
Connecticut on that? 28?
I can't tell you.
Come on.
I can give you I can give you a wink.
Fingers crossed. All right. Last question. I've asked you before. You told me next time you talk, ask me again. I'll have an update. A movie coming out with the album. You were supposed to have a movie.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
I'm sure. So what's the status of the movie that you were hoping to release?
I'm still 100%. The band is still 100%. The director 100%. We are still going to be releasing something very, very original and something cinematic eventually. We got into a situation where touring took over the filming process of a lot of it because it's being done in such a way that it's not a documentary style film. And with that being said, it's a lot harder to get footage when you're on the road and then putting that in, and it's just hours and hours of footage and trying to lay this stuff out. It's funny because when people see films, whether they're an hour and a half or whether they're 2 hours long, the person that never gets any credit for that is the editor. We have
Animus Prime right there. She does that for us.
The editing is so crucial, and hats off to you, seriously. The amount of time that it takes, because like right now, and I'm not even exaggerating, we probably have 42 hours of footage.
Wow.
And with that alone, it just to condense that down into an hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours, and 2 hours is too long anyway, because the issue that I'm having with it, because we've already started to edit it, I was finding myself in the first 20 minutes getting bored out of my mind. And I was like, this is so boring. And I was like, we're gonna have to do something here. And so we started to bring in some other teams and some other people that's what they do. They take a lot of the footage and then they go, what are you trying to accomplish? And then they come back with your 40 hours of footage and they're like, you got about 3 hours that we can condense right now into the first 5 minutes.
Wow, really?
It's insane. Yeah, it's really crazy.
Wow.
And that's after they've sifted through the 40, the 40 hours beforehand. They're basically like, we got about, just to get the storyline started, we got about, of all that, we got like 5 minutes. That's going to be exciting and get to it. It's really complicated.
I'm sure.
It's going to come out eventually, but it's got to be right.
Yeah. So probably like 2019, 2020, somewhere around.
Maybe 2028.
All right, that's fair. Hey,
Something
as long
like
as
that.
it comes out, we'll be happy.
Yeah.
You just got to keep the
Are you
same hair.
busy? Can we hire you?
We're not hiring her out. She's ours. That's it.
I feel you.
Hey, man, thank you for everything.
No.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for all the support, man.
Well, you know we love you.
No, we love you right back. We're always here for you. You've always been there for us.
We appreciate your time, and can't wait to see you on stage tonight.
Thank you so much.
And
Can't
again
wait
in
to play.
August, and then when you come back to Connecticut with Five Finger Death Punch, right?
Wink, wink.
Brent Smith, Shinedown with iRock Radio, the world headquarters of rock.